nonetheless, the Tigers hoping for a victory here this afternoon against the Chicago White Sox, and Verlander on the mound will face a lineup presented, by the way, by the Romani Eye Institute that features Scott Podsednik leading off. He's the DH. Gordon Beckham is at third base. Carlos Quentin is out at left. Jermaine Dye, career against Verlander, pretty good numbers. He'll be in right field. Mark Kotsay is at first. Alex Rios in center. Their bottom three is Alexi Ramirez, Ramon Castro catching, and Brent Lillibridge is batting ninth and playing second base. The Dodge scouting report is on Justin Verlander.
Well, he's the ace of the staff, and it's a huge game, and Jim Leyland would like no one else other than Verlander to be on the mound. It's games like these that define really great pitchers, and Verlander would fall in that category. Boy, has he thrown a lot of pitches lately. His last three starts, he's thrown a combined total of 383. Let's hope he's got about 120 more for today. Let's take a look at the defense behind Verlander. It's always presented by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores. You've got Rayburn in left and leading off. He is the go-to guy against the left-handers. Granderson in center, Maglio on right, Inge, Everett, Polanco, Cabrera. G-Money, Gerald Laird is behind the plate, and Justin Verlander, one of the most dominant pitchers in the game of baseball today, is towing the rubber.
An opportunity today to get his 19th victory of the season on the final day of the year, trying to pitch the Tigers into the playoffs. That is the most important thing today for Verlander. And he is ready to go to work as Scott Podsednik leads it off. We are ready for baseball, and the first pitch of the ball game is a strike called on Podsednik. Beckham and then Quentin to follow. 55 degrees our game time temperature today. The strike one pitch is strike two.
Second pitch of the game at 95 miles an hour for Verlander, and the majority of the fastballs he throws this afternoon will be 95 and above.
The 0-2 sails outside at 96 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He is the definition of a power pitcher, but he can also slow it down with an outstanding breaking ball and a very good changeup. There's that breaking ball.
Verlander leads the American League in strikeouts. He will lead the league this season, and it's just a matter of by how many. He has 264 coming into play today, which is about 10.2 per 9 innings. Very impressive. The 2-2 is strike three, right on cue. One gone. First strikeout for Justin. Crowd is amped up today despite the chilly weather.
When you have the kind of fastball that Verlander has, you cannot be afraid to go inside. He'll go inside against the lefties and the righties here this afternoon. What a fastball that was on the inside black to Podsednik. Podsednik could do nothing with it.
Zach Greinke will finish second on that list this year, as Gordon Beckham fouls it straight back 0-1.
Earlier in Verlander's career, he could do nothing with the Chicago White Sox, but this year he has been tremendous against White Sox hitters. 18 innings, he's only given up 1 run to their batters.
Pretty impressive when you consider that coming in, he had really 0 success against him.
Numbers were crooked and ugly.
A much different Verlander this year, again gunning for his 19th win. Inside to Gordon Beckham. Here are those season numbers, an 0.50 ERA. Bouncing ball left side, it'll get through. Base hit. So the Rookie of the Year candidate, Gordon Beckham, has a single with 1 out. We'll bring up Carlos Quentin.
Number 20, Carlos Quentin.
Yeah, be careful with this cat with the fastball. Quentin has been getting busy in this series. A couple of home runs, extra base hits, driving in bunches of runs. The majority of the damage he's been doing has been coming on fastballs. Even Jackson's fastball at 95 miles an hour a couple of days ago. And Quentin got loose on him as well and played long ball.
He's batting in the 3 spot today for Ozzie Guillen. He's had good success against Verlander in his career. And he sends a high towering fly ball to left center field. Granderson cruising over to the warning track. Runner will tag. Beckham trying to get to second, and he is out at second base. A double play for the Tigers. Gordon Beckham is nailed at the bag. No runs. They get a hit, and they leave none. Here come the Tigers.
Granderson, and one of the reasons why he's able to get off such a strong throw is he has his body coming back toward the infield when he does catch this ball, anticipating that Beckham would try to tag up from first to get himself into scoring position. His throw was a little offline, but Polanco was able to grab it and got back and made a very nice tag, staying with Beckham. Ooh, what a slide by Beckham. He might have got that left hand in there, but nonetheless, very good play on both ends by Granderson and Polanco. Fourth outfield assist for Curtis this year.
That one came in handy. So here come the Tigers in the bottom of the first inning. Some changes to their lineup. They have, with the lefty on the mound, Ryan Rayburn leading it off. He'll be followed by Polanco and then Maglio Ordonez. Facing the left-hander John Danks in a scoreless game. Rayburn looks at ball one low. Ryan batting very solid .281 with 14 home runs. That is a career high this season. It's been quite a year for Rayburn. 1-0 sales high, 2 balls and no strikes.
With Granderson struggling this year against left-handed pitching, Rayburn has been a nice option for Jim Leland to lead off, and he's got himself in a good fastball count. Danks will come after him here.
2-1.
Kind of surprised Rayburn took that fastball right down the middle. Danks is not afraid to throw fastballs.
Missed the outside corner. 3 balls and 1 strike. Rayburn with 42 RBIs this year. Danks, the left-hander out of Austin, Texas, only 24 years old. And a strike call, 3-2. Tigers somehow, some way have to find a way to get the offense going today. They were stymied in the first 2 games of the series. And ball 4, so the leadoff man is on. Tigers get a walk to Rayburn. Here is the Tigers starting lineup today, presented by Big Boy. Features Rayburn in left. Polanco is at second base. Maglio Ordonez in right. Miguel Cabrera will clean up today, followed by Carlos Guillen. Brandon Inge opens up at third base. Granderson, Laird, and Everett are your bottom 3. The Bernstein advantage brings you the scouting report on John Danks. Get the Bernstein advantage. We go to bat for you.
He's got nothing to lose, just like his teammates have been playing very loose in the first 2 games of this series, which they have won. Danks will also pitch very loose today, and finally got a complete game in his last start, able to get the first one of his career.
And that was against the Cleveland Indians in Cleveland on the 28th of September.
Danks really no stranger to big games. You may remember last year, the White Sox and the Minnesota Twins played a 1-game playoff in which Danks started and won, and that's the reason why the White Sox went to the postseason. And boy, was he good. 8 innings, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. This kid's got some mound presence about him. He's not afraid. It's going to be tough today for Detroit.
Polanco showing bunt. And so Jim Leland trying to figure out a way to get some runs early in this game. That would be nice, especially with Verlander on the hill.
And Danks is a guy that you're not going to steal off of, and you get a look at Jim Leland there. And with Polanco, and he will put something on, hit and run.
No sign of bunt on that pitch, and a strike is called. 1-1. It's been a terrific year for Polanco as well. 72 RBIs, and he is hitting .302 at home this season.
He plays both sides of the ball, and he should win his 2nd Gold Glove this year. He's only committed 2 miscues.
Popped him up. Right side of the infield for Brent Lillibridge. And 1 gone.
Let's take a look at the rest of the White Sox defensively. Quinton in left. Rios, tremendous center fielder with great range. He's a gamer. He's in right today. Beckham, Ramirez, Lillibridge, Kotsay, Raymond Castro getting the start behind the dish today. It appears that A.J. Brzezinski is going to be the first catcher ever to hit 300 if he does not have to appear in this game and hit and not get a base hit. Congratulations to A.J.
For the White Sox.
White Sox.
There's Brzezinski. Day off today. Big swing by Maglio, who against Danks is lights out. 550.
Danks throws lots of fastballs, and Maglio usually doesn't pull the baseball. He hit the ball right between first and second, where he's got a huge hole right now.
No balls, 2 strikes. Tigers last night didn't get a run until the 8th inning, and they snapped that 17 consecutive innings scoreless streak. Had some chances against Freddie Garcia. The 0-2. White Sox got John Danks from Texas, Brandon McCarthy deal in December of 06. The 1-2 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's funny how those deals work out because no one had heard about Danks before he came to the White Sox, and everyone knew about Brandon McCarthy. He was supposed to be a tremendous young starter and up-and-coming starter in the big leagues, but he has not realized that.
Ground ball fair inside the bag, down the third base line. Rayburn coming to third, and they will hold him there. It's a double for Maglio Ordonez, and the Tigers are in business in the first.
Maglio continues his mastery over John Danks. That was a fastball, not his best fastball, at 87 miles an hour, and Maglio simply pulled his hands inside nicely and whistled the ball right past the diving Beckham. But Ryan Rayburn only able to get to third. Gene Lamont realizing he's got his slugger in the batter's box.
Career double number 399 for Maglio.
They're going to put Cabrera on here in the first inning. It's a good play.
Interesting strategy, but certainly one that you can't argue with. And I know that Cabrera has been a little bit chilly lately, but he is the big horse in the middle of the lineup. Miguel was 0 for 4 in the ball game last night.
You've got Carlos Guillen in the on-deck circle, who will hit right-handed, but has not hit right-handed a whole lot this year. Ozzie Guillen going to put the pressure on Guillen here in the first. This is the right move by Guillen.
Ball 3 outside. So for Cabrera, that'll be intentional walk number 14 on the season, and only Ichiro has more. 15. They are loaded up with Tigers now and 1 out. And a big-time opportunity for Carlos Guillen. Not bad numbers as well against Danks, 4 for 9.
Tigers have some good fastball hitters as we look at Rayburn at third. You've got Ordonez at second, and Cabrera's over at first now. And the reason why some of these guys, the right-handers, do well against Danks, he throws lots of fastballs, and they're good fastball hitters.
Now the crowd getting into it early here. They realize what's at stake for the Tigers. Big opportunity in the first inning. Carlos Guillen takes the ball high, 1-0. Danks has given up a walk, a double, and an intentional walk. The 1-0 pitch. High, 2 balls, no strikes.
These are the counts that you live to get yourself in as a big league hitter. It's a fastball count. You can afford to look in one spot, the spot where you like to do the most damage. If you get that fastball there, simply let it all hang out. If you don't get that pitch, simply take it.
Popped up foul back out of play. Tigers fans already have the rally caps on early in the first inning in this game.
Big game. A lot at stake.
Two and one on Carlos Guillen. Danks in an early jam. High, 3 balls and 1 strike.
If you're Cabrera down at first base, you want to get off as much as you can with Kotsay playing behind you. Should Guillen hit something on the ground, you want to be able to disrupt the timing of the second baseman or the shortstop so they can't turn 2. But you also have to think about the catcher trying to pick you off.
Ball 4, and that'll force in a run. The Tigers have taken the lead on the bases loaded walk to Carlos Guillen. 41st RBI of the season for Guillen. Rayburn scores 1-0 Detroit. As again walking Cabrera intentionally to load the bases, and Danks couldn't throw a strike. Still loaded with one out. Here's Brandon Inge. Strike one on Brandon. Inge in the series has struggled. He is hitless. In fact, overall is 0 for 11.
Be a great time to bust out of that.
Danks about to throw his 25th pitch. And it's another strike, 0-2. But Brandon now is in a hole. Danks 2-2 lifetime against Detroit with an ERA of 3.74. Tip foul. Inge barely stays alive. So critical for the Tigers to score first in this game based on the fact that they have not had much success offensively lately, and when they do score first, 54-30 this season. Aglio and Cabrera and Guillen occupying the bases. And a ball down low. 1-2. Breeze again today blowing out toward left. Not as briskly as last night, though. That is pulled foul down the third baseline. They had broken his bat. It sounded like it did. In game 162, the Tigers come into play today dead even with the Minnesota Twins, who in a little bit will start their game at the Metrodome against Kansas City. Justin Verlander trying to pitch his team into a share of the title. Driven foul on the left field line. Again, Inge way on front. This has the makings of perhaps a big inning for the Tigers. They're looking for a huge hit here from Brandon Inge. And a check swing high. I don't think he went. He did not. Bob Davidson down at first base. 2-2. Boy, those numbers say it all right there.
This is where Detroit has to capitalize, without a doubt.
Got him. Strike three. Brandon is caught looking, and that is the second out.
Batting seventh, the center.
Let's take a look at the pitch by pitch and how Danks goes after Brandon with the bases loaded. Danks is having a difficult time of finding the strike zone, but he gets ahead of Brandon with a breaking ball at the top of the strike zone, and then another breaking ball for 2 strikes. And then Brandon, fighting for his life, fouled off a couple of pitches before Danks finally pulled the string on Brandon and buckled his knees.
Here is Granderson. He pulls one to first base on the backhand, Kotsay, and that is going to be it for the Tigers. Minimal damage, but the Tigers score first. We'll go to the second, 1-0. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, standing the test of time since 1849. Your Motor City Dodge dealers. Comcast with over 10,000 on-demand choices, more than anyone. And by Arby's Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger Sandwich. Try it today. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's. It is a cool afternoon here at the ballpark. Tigers have taken a 1-0 lead on the bases-loaded walk to Carlos Guillen. Verlander back to work. Could have been a bigger inning for the Tigers, but they left him loaded. And now Verlander facing Jermaine Dye, Mark Kotsay, and Alex Rios.
Nice first pitch strike there with a curveball by Verlander.
And Jermaine Dye has made this ballpark look very, very small. He's hit 16 career home runs in this yard, which is more than any other Tigers opponent. He surpassed Joe Creedy. And although Dye has had a rough second half, still a very dangerous bat. He skies one toward White. Maglio coming over and is out of room.
Yeah, the White Sox have an option on Dye for 2010 at $12 million as to whether they want to bring him back or not. And rumor has it he will not be in a White Sox uniform. And judging by those numbers, Tigers pitchers are hoping that he's not even in the American League Central.
Let's just get him out of the league. Here's the 0-2. Driven to right field. Maglio coming on. 1 out.
He is a good player, Jermaine Dye. And wherever he ends up, he will still continue to do damage.
We'll bring up Mark Kotsay. It was the first baseman today. He's played first base in all 3 games in the series. Left-handed batter. It's fouled back out of play.
And Verlander's kind of got these White Sox right where he wants them. Several of their hitters have come out and swung at the first pitch.
Kotsay 1 for 6 in the series, couple of RBIs. And he fouls it back out of play 0-2.
But Verlander is the kind of guy that once he gets ahead of you, no balls and 2 strikes, you can pretty much mail it in. He's got 3 above average pitches, the mid-90s fastball, outstanding change, and a disappearing curveball to put you away after he's gotten ahead of you with 2 strikes.
Defensive swing for Kotsay.
It's not often you see the knees buckle of a left-handed batter when the pitcher on the mound is right-handed and he throws you a curveball. I was talking to Gene Lamont after Verlander made his last start against the Minnesota Twins, and he had a real nice view from the dugout. He said the best curveball he's ever seen Verlander with against the Minnesota Twins.
That's popped up. Foul ground. See if it stays in play. It appears it will, and it does. 2 gone. Well, that's saying something because we have seen Verlander ever since really he's gotten to the big leagues that he's had above average secondary pitches.
And Gene also went on to say that the numbers weren't as glamorous as some of Verlander's other games. Of course, he's thrown a no-hitter and he's thrown quite a few shutouts, but he said stuff-wise it was the best that he'd seen Verlander take to the mound.
Well, with 2 outs, here is Alex Rios. Got to slow him down. He's had a big series this season in a White Sox uniform against Detroit. In fact, he had 4 more hits yesterday with a double.
Could be good for the White Sox next year, playing center field.
One ball, 1 strike. So Rios ahead in the count. Just missed. 3-1. Rios has had some good years in the American League, obviously all with Toronto until this year. That's fouled back out of play, but he has never driven in 100 runs. In fact, the most he has had, 85. He earned himself a huge contract. The most home runs he has hit in a season, 24. But the numbers have been steady. The 3-2 pitch is on the ground, knocked down by Verlander. We'll have plenty of time, but it's a 1-2-3 inning for Justin. No runs, no hits. They leave none. We go to the bottom of the second. Game today using your cell phone. Text Tigers followed by a space in the player's uniform number to 37338 or FSDET. Final results post game during Tigers Live. Here's a bunt. Nobody getting there. It's a bunt hit for Gerald Laird. And the Tigers have the leadoff man out for the second straight inning.
This is what the Tigers have not done a lot of, but take a look at Danks here. He kind of falls off toward the third base side of the rubber, and by the time he reacts, that ball is by him. Laird, watching him warm up here and pitch, knows that Danks falls off to that side. Therefore, he bunted to the direction that he very seldom bunts to. Laird usually bunts right down the third baseline. It's good observation by Gerald.
And he's put himself on now for Adam Everett, who leads the league with 13 sacrifices.
That's why the throw over from Danks with Laird on first. Laird not going to steal a base, but he wanted to see, if you're Danks, if Everett was bunting, would he tip his hand by watching the throw over to first base?
No sign of sacrifice there. Strike one. For Adam Everett, 237 with 44 RBIs. 1 for 3 in the series. Tigers got a run on a bases loaded walk in the first inning off Danks. And by the way, he threw 32 pitches in that first inning. Now he's showing sacrifice and he lays one down. Mission accomplished. Move the runner up.
Brian.
14 sacrifices now for Adam Everett.
Textbook, you bend your knees. When the ball gets there, you simply make sure you get down to bunt it instead of dropping the bat head, which would cause a pop-up. And it's a nice job by Everett, who has done a lot of that this year.
Ryan Rayburn with an RBI chance. Off the end of the bat, foul, 0-1. Rayburn had a base on balls and scored the game's first run back in the first inning.
Tigers need to put in the back of their minds that Danks is going to go to some of his softer stuff when runners are in scoring position. And that's what he did to Brandon Inge, and he struck him out with a changeup, and he started Rayburn off with a changeup as well. But Danks is no different than most pitchers in the big leagues.
Driven deep in the air to left field. That ball is back, and that ball is gone. It's a line drive home run for Ryan Rayburn. And the Tigers lead 3-0.
Apparently, Rayburn put that in the back of his mind because he got a changeup at the top of the strike zone from Danks, and he absolutely killed it. If you watch starting pitchers early enough in games, they will tip their hand. You see the grip? It's a changeup. It's not down, and he absolutely punishes them.
So for a Tigers team that had been scuffling badly to score runs in the first 2 games in the series, they lead 3-0. And here is Polanco, who takes the ball high, 1-0. As Rayburn continues to add to his career high in homers, 15, and he gives the Tigers a spark again in that leadoff spot.
That's the biggest one he's ever hit. No doubt about that.
1 ball and 1 strike. Now 1-2 on Polanco. Tigers 3 runs on 3 hits. The RBIs belong to Rayburn, 2 of them, and Guillen has the other. Back a second and caught on the grass by Lillibridge. 2 outs. We'll bring up Ordonez. By the way, one final time, this game is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. Checked it, but it went around. Strike 1. Maglio with his double in the first inning. Finishes the regular season now with a 12-game hitting streak. He's had a couple of long ones this year. Had a hitting streak of 16 back in May. And he continues to pound Danks. 12 for 21. Driven to left field, sinking, base hit. 2 for 2 for Maglio.
The organization did right by Ordonez by allowing him to get to his games played clause, which kicks in his contract for 2010. Jim Leland did a tremendous job with him. And when Maglio was struggling, he would sit him. He would take extra batting practice with him. Did everything to get him going, but he never gave up on him. And late in the year, Maglio's paid huge dividends for his club.
And barring anything weird the rest of the way in this game, he'll finish over 300, which is kind of incredible.
It sure is. Leland stuck by him, which is key. Don't think for one moment the players did not recognize that.
There's the ball inside to Cabrera. Four Tigers hits and only 1 for Chicago. Bouncing ball left side in the hole, the shortstop Ramirez. That's all for the Tigers, but a big inning it is. They get 2 more runs. Ryan Rayburn from that leadoff spot, a 2-run shot.
the Miami Heat in the NBA preseason action. George Blaha and Special K, Greg Kelser, have the action from the Palace tomorrow night at 7:30 here on Fox Sports Detroit.
Well, the Tigers have made it a 3-0 game as we go to the top of the third, and Alexi Ramirez will lead it off against Justin Verlander. It'll be Ramirez, Castro, and Lillibridge. 3 runs on 4 Tigers hits, no runs on 1 hit for Chicago. Ramirez hacking at the first pitch, fouls it away.
Kind of gives you an idea of just how good Verlander is. Everyone in baseball knows that Ramirez is a tremendous first pitch fastball hitter. And Verlander, not afraid of that. Here it is, hit it, which is what guys with big arms do. They come right after you.
Fly ball, right center field. Granderson drifting over, and Ramirez is out.
Verlander has also gotten to the point in his career where it really doesn't matter what the strengths are of the opposing hitters that he's going up against. When he's at his best and he's doing what he needs to do, it's very tough for him to get hit. Therefore, that's his main concern, is making sure that he is on par with his game plan, not necessarily trying to take the game plan away from the Chicago White Sox here today.
Yeah, it makes you wonder really how much scouting reports matter to Verlander, because he's going to do what he's going to do.
They matter for a lot of pitchers, but Verlander is not one of those guys.
Castro catching today, shoots one in the air to right center field. Grandy on the run again. 2 gone.
White Sox swinging early and often, which means that Verlander's pitch count is able to stay under control here early in the game.
There's Brent Lillibridge. 1 for 8 in the series with a walk. Strike 1.
Granderson in center field is shading Lillibridge to the right side of second base. If he throws him a breaking ball, he can hit something there, but Granderson doesn't believe he can turn on that Verlander fastball. Very few can.
Chris Getz, the youngster out of Grosse Pointe South, was having a fine season, but he's done for the rest of the year. Had a sports hernia, so Lillibridge is playing here down the stretch, getting an opportunity to play. Verlander is ahead of 0-2, and the breaking ball just missed it inside. 1-2.
That thing is nasty. With a capital N at 79 miles an hour. He can go 99 with the fastball, give you the same arm slot, arm speed, and back off 20 miles per hour. He's a freak of nature.
Fouled away. Now the freak is trying to get his 19th win. Came in at 18-9 with an ERA at 3.45. Frankie gave up a few runs yesterday.
That he did.
So I guess maybe the door is still a little bit open for Verlander. Although the guy out on the West Coast, Felix Hernandez, is there as well, having a great year.
You missed the Cy Young?
Yep, that's what we're talking about, of course. Frankie's ERA is at 2.16.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. And so is the other cat you're talking about in the Pacific Northwest, Felix. They call him King Felix out there.
Again, back out of play.
There are some outstanding young pitchers in the American League. You mentioned 3 of those guys, from Verlander, Hernandez, and Greinke, Beckett, CC. The list goes on and on. Tremendous pitchers. And they put that on a display in the All-Star game this year, where they retired 18 straight National League hitters. 18 straight.
Just missed. Yeah, that wasn't just a regular team. That was an all-star team that they buzzed through.
Here's the list. CC made a bid for his 20th win the other day and did not get it. Greinke will finish with the least amount of wins of anybody on that list, but his secondary numbers are tremendous, and I think he wins it. I just think he wins it. He's got a lot of strikeouts. The earned run average is probably the determining factor. And he played on a team that didn't win very many games, and they didn't score any runs for him.
There are those, though, on the flip side of the coin that say that he did pitch in the Central, which is not one of the stronger divisions in the American League. And so they will hold that against him, but that's kind of a minor blip. There's ball 4. 2-out base runner, and that is the first walk issued by Verlander. Halladay with 17 wins. He kind of he was in that talk for most of the year. And, you know, all of a sudden now he's got 17 wins and a 2.79 ERA.
He's good, too.
So he's got to be considered. And he's pitching in the East.
White Sox stole 6 bases yesterday. And Laird was behind the plate. Yes, I said 6. There will be none of that today, though. Verlander has a quick move, and he gives Laird plenty of time to throw. If they do attempt to steal, Laird will get off a good throw, and it will be a close play at second.
And there goes the runner. Gerald's throw is on the bag, and got him.
I see you, money.
Lillibridge caught stealing Gerald Laird after giving up 6 of them yesterday. Comes out firing today. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. At Bell Tire, you'll get the best tire price, period, and out the door with more. And by AT&T, your world delivered. Tigers bat in the 3rd, up 3-0 on a must-win Sunday here today. They came into play tied with the Minnesota Twins for the top spot in the American League Central Division. Carlos Guillen leading it off against John Danks. He drives the pitch down the left field line. It's going to hook, though, and go foul.
Yeah, even though Danks hung that changeup to Rayburn last half inning, which Rayburn hit out of the ballpark, it's still his pitch of choice to some of these right-handed hitters.
4 Tigers hits today. Of course, the 2-run shot by Rayburn. A huge difference, making it 3-0. Carlos had a bases-loaded walk in the 1st to get the Tigers on the board, and he pops it up. On the infield, they're pinching from the corners, and the 3rd baseman Beckham makes the play.
Let's take one more look at the throw by Laird to get Lillibridge trying to steal. Verlander is one of those guys that Laird does not have to worry about. He always has time to throw, and look at where Everett took that throw. He allowed the ball to travel all the way and simply drops the glove on Lillibridge instead of reaching in front and then reaching back with the glove. That's textbook on both ends. Plenty of time for Laird. Nice tag applied by Everett.
Brandon Inge bats with 1 out. Inge, a strikeout victim in the 1st inning. In fact, he struck out with the bases loaded looking.
That further validates how important it is for pitchers to give their catchers time to throw. This White Sox team stole 6 bases yesterday. Carlos Quentin stole a base yesterday, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah,
second.
Jim Leland said really of the 6, Gerald had time, he thinks, in only one of those to throw a guy out. The other 5 he had no shot at.
I would agree with Jim on that fact.
2 gone. Here's Curtis Granderson. Well, the skipper before the game today just kept reiterating the point. We don't score runs. Doesn't matter how well Verlander pitches. We need to get the offense going, and they have responded early in this game with 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Curtis grounded out to close out the first inning. 1 strike on the Tigers center fielder. Danks working quickly, misses low. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's in the air. Left side. Drifting. And back into the seats.
Quite a bit of wind up there pushing that ball into the seats. And when Beckham initially took off for it, I thought he had a play. He's got some range at that third base position. He came up as a shortstop where he played collegiately at Georgia. So he's got some range, quick feet at third base.
Now the 1-2. Bouncing ball to second. This will be an easy inning for Danks. A 1-2-3 inning. 3 in the books. Final game of the regular season. 3-0 Detroit. Aflac trivia question today. Who was the last Tigers pitcher to lead the American League in strikeouts? It'll be Justin Verlander this year. Who was the last Tiger pitcher to do it? And your answer coming up in the bottom of the 4th inning. Meanwhile, Verlander has more work to do as we go to the top of the 4th. It'll be the top of the order. Scott Podsednik, Gordon Beckham, and Carlos Quentin. Tigers got 1 in the first and 2 more in the second inning. They lead 3-0. And Verlander's pitch is fouled back out of play. 0-1 on Podsednik.
And Podsednik was very instrumental in the White Sox march to a world championship back in 2005. He stayed on for another year with the organization before leaving, but finding his way back home in the month of May this year after being released by the Colorado Rockies in spring training. And has had a great season for the White Sox leading off.
48 multiple hit games, leads. Their ball clubs had a great September/October. 352 the final month. And a pretty good series. 4 hits, couple of RBIs. Here's the 1-2. The sun is doing its best to burn through the clouds today. We're getting a little bit of sunlight. It was kind of dark. In fact, the lights are on here at the ballpark. It was so dark at the beginning with all the cloud cover. That slap foul down the third base line. Temperature starting to climb. We're up to 57.
That Minnesota Twins game getting ready to kick off momentarily in Minnesota. I'm sure their entire team is watching this Tigers game just as the Tigers were yesterday watching Minnesota, who played before them.
But Sednick is out, one gone, and that matchup will get going in about 10 minutes. It'll be Luke Kotsay and Carl Pavano will get the start for the Minnesota Twins.
I thought Dunsing initially was scheduled to start the game in Minnesota.
They have changed. They are going with Pavano. And the last time Pavano pitched on 3 days rest, it was 2004.
Ron Gardenhire is a tremendous manager, and I would never really second guess anything that he has done, but Pavano has thrown more innings this year than he has thrown combined in the last 4 years when he was wearing a Yankees uniform, and he was getting a little tired.
Well, something about that matchup that he likes. The 0-2 pitch is inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Maybe sweet swinging Billy Butler will get loose today against Pavano. One of those changeups.
It'd be nice. Fought that one off foul. Of course, that Royals lineup has some pretty good left-handed hitters, or some left-handed hitters that can do some damage. Jacobs, and they have Gordon, and they have Tien. So Dunsing seemed to be a pretty good option for them. But Pavano it will be. Inside as Verlander backs him out of there. 2-2 on Beckham.
And Verlander reached back to get 98 with that fastball. And Beckham singled sharply between Everett and Inge his first time up.
Popped up. Foul ground. Inge racing hard, and he won't get there. Just into the Tigers dugout. Two balls, 2 strikes.
It's a good time for one of those knee buckling breaking balls from Verlander. So far in this game, the White Sox have laid off that pitch. It's going to go to changeup.
And it's in the air to center field for Curtis Granderson.
Whereas most right-handed pitchers a little reluctant in throwing the changeup to right-handed batters, Verlander is not afraid to throw his changeup. Even though it fades down and into the happy zone of the right-handers, he will still throw it.
So with 2 gone, here's Carlos Quentin. 8 of the last 9 have gone down against Verlander. One ball, no strikes on Quentin, who fly to center field his first time, and he takes low 2-0. Well, JV's normal spot is, of course, on that bucket. Now you got a couple of rookies that are kind of hanging out there. Avila and Porcello checking out Verlander's spot, keeping it warm. There's the ball outside. Of course, if it got to Tuesday night in Minneapolis, Porcello's turn would be up. It's a pitch against those Minnesota Twins. There's a strike call. Quentin has homered in his last 4 games against the Tigers. Leave and a miss. 3-2. Now the crowd coming alive. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That's in the air and hit to right field. right at Maglio, and another 1-2-3 inning for Justin Verlander. You're watching Tigers baseball, and it's presented by Bell Tire. Here's the Aflac trivia question again here this afternoon. Who is the last Tigers pitcher to lead the American League in strikeouts? And the answer is, did you guess Jack Morris? If you did, you're correct. 1983, struck out 232. Verlander will take over that spot. He'll lead the American League this year. Gerald Laird starts it off for the Tigers in the fourth. Laird and then Everett and then Rayburn facing left-hander John Danks. One single by Gerald started the scoring rally in the second and completed on the two-run homer by Rayburn. Way inside, and now it's 3-0.
Tigers played some small ball in that inning to get themselves in a situation to score a run, and then Rayburn played a little big ball.
Danks got the Tigers 1-2-3 in the third. Shot foul back out of play. 3-2. Tigers got a run on the board in the first, 2 in the second, and Verlander has done the rest. He has scattered just, well, he's given up just one hit. I don't know how you scatter one hit, but that's it against Justin. And there's ball 4, and the leadoff man is on again. There's another walk, and that'll be the 4th.
Here's that second inning where they put a 2 spot on the board. Laird realizing that Danks falls off toward the third base side of the rubber. Therefore, he bunts in a direction where he very seldom bunts. Adam Everett gets his 14th sacrifice of the year, which leads the American League. And Rayburn has been tremendous this year leading off for the Tigers. Granderson has struggled against left-handers, but Rayburn has been huge. Not only against left-handers, but against righties as well. Rayburn having one of his better seasons as a pro.
Again, Everett, who in this situation sacrificed back in the second, will stand in there. He has 14 to lead the American League.
If you do bunt in this situation, you want to go down toward first base, go down toward Kotsay, because he has a responsibility of holding Gerald Laird on. Beckham on the other side has no responsibility. You want to bunt the ball down there. Not there. Not there. Yeah, right there. Or at the very least, you make the pitcher field it.
Spins away from a pitch inside, 2-0.
Go a couple of different ways now. If you're Laird and you do get the hit and run, you got to be careful. You don't want to take off too soon because you don't want to get picked off. But this is a good count to do something in. You know you're going to get something that's close to the strike zone, and it also allowed you to stay out of the double play, and you can get some infielders moving.
High fly ball deep into left field. Toward the corner it goes, and that ball is foul. Everett taking a shot at 345 down the line. Adam this year has hit 3 home runs.
Seems like everything hit up in the air down toward left field is getting pushed foul today. Some good wind up there today. Those flags on top of the scoreboard are blowing at a real crisp pace in that direction.
Two and one on Adam Everett. Laird led it off with a walk. Tigers have gotten the leadoff man on in 3 of the first 4 innings today. And again, he'll show bunt. He will pop this one up, but it drops in front of Danks. Better hurry. Save! He thought he could get the out at second, and that cost him the out at first. Kotsay not a fan of that call by Bob Davidson.
Because the ball was bunted in the air, Laird had to hold up momentarily. Danks realized that, but once he spun to look at Laird and realized he had no play there, and he tried to get the ball to Kotsay, but it was too late. Or was it? It's also a perfect example of where you want to hit the bag when running down toward first base. You want to hit the front part of the bag. If Everett hits the back part of that bag, no doubt he gets called out.
Ruled a base hit for Adam Everett. Rayburn takes strike 1. We're talking about Ryan splits as a leadoff hitter this year, batting .314 coming in with 5 of his 15 home runs now out of the leadoff slot. The 0-1. He is showing bunt. Ball inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gene Lamont running through the signs in the coaching box at third. Tigers trying to add to their 3-0 lead. They already have some runs on the board with Verlander pitching extremely well today. Now the 1-1. Driven again down the left field line, but this time he's going to pull it. And it'll go way foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rayburn's 2-run shot in the second extended the Tigers' lead. He's trying to give him some more here. Ball low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rayburn's batting average 20 points higher in the second half as compared to the first half. And the 2-2 is on the ground at third base. Beckham has it, tags the bag 1, relay to first. Is in time for the double play, and Rayburn hits into the 5-3 twin killing as Beckham goes across the diamond.
And all of Beckham's momentum carrying him right toward the bag. He simply steps on it and has plenty of time to finish that play.
So 2 gone. Runner at second base. That'll bring up Polanco.
And Danks not out of the woods yet. And Polanco, since putting on a Tigers uniform, has been really good hitting with runners in scoring position. Very seldom strikes out. Short, quick, compact swing. Makes lots of contact.
A couple of pop-ups in this game, 0 for 2. The 0-1. Shot to third, deep behind the bag. Beckham again. Guns and gets him. Nice play by the rookie. Tigers turned away in the fourth, on their way to the fifth. It is 3-0 Detroit. The Tigers here as we go to the top of the fifth inning, final day of the 2009 season. Mario and Rod back here at the ballpark, and a couple of things we expected today, Rod. A, for Verlander to pitch well, and well, I guess we hoped that B, the offense would kind of perk up a little bit, and both things have happened so far.
Well, Verlander's been nails, and one of the things I've noticed about him through the first 4 innings, he's using all of his pitches. He has not been fastball happy in this game. He has that breaking ball and the changeup, which are good pitches as well.
Ryan Rayburn, big home run. This kid just continues to do it, giving the offense a little bit of spark today.
We'll give Jim a lot of credit for that. He has shown a lot of confidence in Rayburn. When Rayburn was struggling this year, it was Jim that went to him and said, just relax. You're going to be okay. You're going to continue to get chances to play. And Rayburn said that kind of turned his year around. He said he used to go to the plate thinking that he had to get a hit every time up or he wasn't going to play the next day. But Jim has been able to relax him, and that has been the difference maker for Ryan Rayburn this year.
Well, it's 3-0 as we play here in the fifth, and Jermaine Dye leads it off. He will be followed by Kotsay and Rios. Here's the 1-1. Pulled to third, foul. Verlander had 59 pitches through 4 innings today.
This is one of those games where you're kind of hoping that Verlander doesn't rack up tons of strikeouts. You don't really want him pitching in that kind of stress. Continue to pitch to contact. Continue to get a strikeout or two when you need to, but I kind of like the way that he's pitching.
Yeah, it's only his second strikeout, which obviously keeps the pitch count much more in order than if he's striking out 7 or 8 at this point.
And I told you Verlander is not one of those right-handed pitchers that buys into the theory of not throwing changeups to right-handed batters. When you've got this good a pitch, why not put it on display?
Bouncing ball right side, down to a knee is Cabrera. Verlander will cover, and there are 2 gone.
What an athlete. What an athlete. Fields his position very well, holds runners well, and is a tremendous competitor.
Here's Alex Rios with 2 outs. 11 of the last 12 have gone down for Chicago. Ball 1 to Rios, who bounced right back to the mound his first time up. There's a strike in the outer edge, 1-1. Lots of balls in the air today for Verlander. As we mentioned, just the 2 strikeouts. That's grounded foul, 1 and 2.
Well, that's an indication of a guy being overpowering when you see lots of fly balls into the outfield. That means most of the hitters are tardy. They're late on the fastball.
1-2 pitch.
And right now he is feeling that changeup. As a matter of fact, he's thrown as many changeups as he has the curveball today.
Verlander has been very good against the Central this year, 9-3 against opponents within the division. And his ERA equally impressive, 2.28.
I guess that's what Leland had in mind in spring training when he said the team had to be better against the AL Central. He had Verlander in mind.
And by and large, the team as a club has been better this year. That one was awfully close. Verlander was just standing there looking in at Jeff Nelson.
Where was it? Oh, what depth. What depth on that breaking ball.
That's lifted in the air. Right center field. Who wants it? Granderson does. Another 1-2-3 inning for Justin Verlander. He's cruising along today. Of course, Detroit is brought to you by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. How about pause in Exmo?
Tight.
Go Tigers. Actually, that's kind of scary. We need pause in regular speed. 3-0 is our score. 3-2-0 is our score. As we go to the bottom of the fifth inning, Tigers got 1 in the first, 2 in the second. And Maglio leading it off here in the fifth inning. Ordonez, Cabrera, and Guillen, the middle 3 in the Tigers lineup. Or 3-4-5 as it is. And that's ripped foul. Maglio making a bid for another hit. He already has a double and a single in this game.
He's in a pulling kind of mood here today against Stanks, the left-hander. Usually a large portion of Maglio's hits are to right field, but both of his hits today have been to left field.
Swinging a drive way back in the left. Forget about this one. Ordonez is homered.
It's been a while since he's done that. Ooh, it's been a while.
August 16th, the last home run for Maglio, and that one has to feel really good. It's a 3-hit game. Boy, is that a welcome sight. Killed that thing. 8th home run of the year.
Kind of brought back some memories of that Houston streak pitch that Maglio Ordonez clobbered into left field that marched the Tigers to the World Series in 2006. Boy, did he pull his hands in nicely on that and generated some tremendous bat speed. Big fella trying to get loose, too.
Maglio now just a triple shy of the cycle, single, double, and a homer. Cabrera grounded into a force his last time up. Ordonez has made it 4-0, and there's a bullet hit right at Gordon Beckham. 1 out.
The designated hitter, Carlos Guillen.
There's Carlos Guillen. Bases loaded walk in the first inning, providing his 41st RBI. Fooled in that time. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Danks is fearless with that changeup. As a matter of fact, you have a couple of guys on the mound for their respective teams that feature really good changeups.
A little bit low. 2-1. Tigers now have 6 hits. They've hit 2 home runs in this game. 2-run shot by Rayburn. Solo homer by Ordonez. And the 2-1. Rolled to third and out of the reach of both Ramirez and Beckham into left field, and another hit for the Tigers.
Hey fans, American League Division Series postseason suites are available now. Get your suite for games 3 and 4 of the ALDS. All suites include free food. Reserve yours today by calling the Tigers Luxury Suites Department at 313-471-2222.
Did I hear you say free food?
You sure did, partner. Making me hungry.
Brandon Inge looks at a strike, 0-1. Inge 0 for 2, strikeout, ground out. 7 Tigers hits now. And a ground ball left side, deep in the hole. Ramirez going to be a tough play, and they will get the force at second. Nicely done. Good pick down there by Lillibridge.
That long, slender fella has got some range at that shortstop position. He played second base all year last year for the White Sox and got some starts in center field, but they felt like with his athleticism, he could play that shortstop position, and he's made some dazzling plays in this series already. Perfect body for a shortstop.
Here's Granderson. Curtis has been very busy defensively in this game. He already has 4 putouts, and in this game he is 0 for 2. He also has an assist. There's a check swing missing outside, 2-0.
No disrespect to Curtis. He's one of my favorite players in the game. But that's why he's playing today, because he has a sub batting average against 200 against left-handed pitchers this year. So he's in there for his defense.
Driven to right field, and it's going to be caught by Jermaine Dye. So the Tigers will settle for the 1 run. The Ordonez homer extends the lead. And we played 5 innings here. Tigers add another. Well, the Tigers are on top in this one, 4-0 now as we go to the top of the 6th inning here at the ballpark. Justin Verlander cruising along. The Maglio home run makes it a 4-0 game. Tigers have 7 hits today, just 1 hit given up by Verlander. 7, 8, 9 facing him here in the 6th. It'll be Ramirez, Castro, and Lillibridge. Right back up the middle and make it 2 hits on the afternoon. The first of the day for Ramirez. Well, that game in Minnesota has begun, and the Minnesota Twins in the bottom of the 1st inning, scoreless game. Jason Kubel, a 3-run homer. And the Twins jump on top of the Royals in the first, 3-0.
They got 50,000 strong in the Metrodome today, waving them white towels.
Think it's loud in there? 0-1 on Castro.
I was listening to Ron Gardenhire's post-game comments yesterday, and he said he's never been in a World Series, and he also went on to say he had never been in a building that was as loud as it was in the Metrodome yesterday.
Well, apparently it has helped Delman Young because he is homered now, and it's 4-0 Minnesota.
The Tigers kind of woke him up too when Verlander plucked him on the back of the leg a couple of days ago. He woke up after that. He's driven in 7 runs since getting smoked here at Comerica Park on Thursday.
Say what you will about dome stadiums, when you get them packed for big games and the crowds make some noise, it is a huge advantage for the home team.
A nice 10th man.
Delman Young had the grand slam the other day?
Grand slam a couple of days ago, and he hit a 3-run triple off Greinke yesterday.
0-2 on Castro. Swing and a miss. Verlander absolutely blew him away at 97. It's his 3rd strikeout.
Verlander is the beast. He gets you out a lot of different ways. You cannot touch this piece of cheese at that location. Courtesy of Comcast, Verlander has hit 98 today and has gone as low as 77 with either the changeup or the curveball. Probably the changeup. Throws the changeup a little slower than he does his curve. Rick Knapp was telling a story earlier in the year. Verlander has 18 wins, but he didn't get his first win until April 27th. So he struggled the first few starts of the year, but Rick Knapp tells the story that Verlander's season started to take shape when Verlander started to read the hitters. He started to recognize what hitters were trying to do against him by simply watching the swings when he delivers the ball toward home plate. He's always in a really good position. Therefore, he can tell if they're sitting on a fastball, whether they may be looking at a breaking ball. And since he has made that adjustment along with some other adjustments, he has gone on to put himself in the Cy Young conversation.
Well, in his first 4 starts of the year, he gave up a total of 24 runs combined in those starts. So it was a little bit of a frustrating start for him.
And Rick Knapp said that Verlander is one of those guys where he didn't try to give him too much early. Verlander, he's one of those guys that's a proud man. He's very confident. He knows what he wants to do. And after the Anaheim Angels put a 7 spot on him, Rick Knapp said Verlander simply came to him and said, "Dude, what am I doing?"
You think he used the word dude?
He might have. That's how these young kids talk these days. But he said, "What am I doing? I feel great, but I'm just not getting it." And Knapp said that was really all he needed to start to mentor Verlander. He needed Verlander to come to him first.
Which I guess he had been reluctant to do in past years. And I guess a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's had so much success at every single level. He got him, strike 3. Dandy of a pitch, and that's 4 strikeouts.
Gene Lamont told me the other day that Verlander had the best curveball that he'd ever seen, and this is the types of pitches that he was throwing in that game against the Minnesota Twins. It doesn't matter whether it's a right-hander or a left-hander. The pitch was absolutely filthy, and they could do nothing with it. This is a plus curveball.
4 strikeouts this afternoon. Back to the top of the order, Scott Podsednik. But Sednick is 0 for 2. The 0-1 is slap foul back out of play.
Something else about Verlander as well. You talked about the fact that he had never really struggled anywhere that he had been. That's just how dominant Verlander had been. But think about it. He had 3 different pitching coaches here in his first 4 years in the big leagues. I mean, that's a lot of information.
That's a good point.
I mean, how much do you dissect? I mean, it was Chuck Hernandez and Bob Clupp, and then now you got Rick Knapp.
Sednick stays alive. A lot of information, and probably a lot of different types of information, because I'm sure those 3 guys each had their own way of doing it.
Yes.
Well, what a year it's been for him, and solidifying himself as the ace of this staff, and he has been somebody the Tigers have been able to kind of hop on his back all season long and ride him to the finish line, which is today and hopefully beyond. Ooh, there's that breaking ball again. Where was that one?
He might be fooling Jeff Nelson with that pitch today.
Verlander had to cover his mouth after that last pitch. Wow.
The depth, the break on it was so great today that Nelson is giving up on it.
2-2. Sednick is 0 for 2. There is action in the Chicago pen. Daniel Hudson, who was in a starting role the last time we saw him in Chicago.
He's good. He's really good.
He'll get back out of play. Yeah, they got to be excited about him.
Matter of fact, he and Verlander went to the same college. Old Dominion. Kotsay trying to distract Verlander or something. You better leave him alone.
The last thing you want to do is upset Verlander. Two and two. Fought that one off right back to the mound. JV with another outstanding inning. He's pitched 6. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-0 Detroit.
Back to Gerald Laird leading off the 2nd inning with an outstanding bunt towards second base. And by the time Lillibridge was able to come in and get it, G-Money was running past the bag with a single. And later came on to score on the Ryan Rayburn 2-run home run. Coors Light Freeze Cam always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, we've got some changes. Jason Nix is at third base. Dwayne Wise is in now to take over for Jermaine Dye. And we've got a new pitcher as well. So John Danks is done for the day, and there is Daniel Hudson.
Yeah, Tigers saw him in a start last weekend in Chicago, and he looked awfully good. His stuff is outstanding. In very little time that Hudson spent in the minor leagues and finds himself in the big leagues, and he might be fighting for that 5th spot in their rotation next year with Freddie Garcia.
Could very well be doing that. 5th round pick in 08. So here's Laird to lead things off, and the first pitch is low. Laird, Everett, Rayburn.
Hudson kind of throws from that low 3/4 arm slot, and he's got some pretty good movement with his 2-seam fastball. And he's got some velocity to go with that pitch as well. 92, 93 with a big breaking ball that kind of goes east to west. Not a lot of depth with his breaking ball from the angle that he throws from.
That's popped up right side of the infield. And an easy play for Kotsay. 1 out.
Hey fans, you can place a deposit on 2010 Tiger season tickets and receive the opportunity to purchase tickets for all 2009 playoff games. Call 313-471-BALL, or you can just simply log on to Tigers.com.
Strike 1 on Everett, right down the middle. Had him with a sacrifice and an infield hit. Jim Leyland talked about Everett before the game today, and he was marveling at a couple of those plays he made defensively last night, saying there aren't really too many shortstops that could have made at least 2 of the plays that Everett made last night, and that's exactly what he brought to this ball club. And you look at what the Tigers tried to do, is down he goes, swinging and missing. In the offseason, they wanted to improve at the catcher spot or fill that position and improve defensively at short. And they did a pretty good job in both of those areas.
It was the first order of business that was accomplished by David Nabrowski at the winter meetings, signing Everett and Gerald Laird, getting him from the Texas Rangers.
Big swing by Rayburn, 0-1. Big shot early in this game by Rayburn, a 2-run homer in the second off Danks. Gave the Tigers and Verlander a little bit of breathing room. They lead 4-0 right now in the 6th. Rayburn rolls one toward third, but foul. Final numbers on John Danks. He goes 5 today, throws 89 pitches. He walked 4. Struck out only 1.
It's a good fastball there by Hudson across his body on the black outside at 94 miles an hour.
The 2-2 is low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Hudson is out of Lynchburg, Virginia. High fly ball. Hit well. Left center field. Rayburn may have done it again, and he has. It's gone. It's a 2-homer game for Ryan Rayburn. What a year he's had, and he has come up big in the biggest game of the season.
Told you Hudson does not have a lot of depth with that breaking ball from the angle that he throws from, simply flat, hanging right over the heart of the plate, and Rayburn absolutely clobbered it.
Polanco shoots one to right. That's a foul ball. Make it a 5-0 ball game. Rayburn a 2-run shot and a solo home run, and that home run made Verlander pretty happy. Verlander smelling that 19th win of the season now.
And Verlander walks around with that cold stare on his face on days that he pitches.
Bouncing ball back to the mound. Hudson handles this one. And that is that for the Tigers. They get another run on the Rayburn homer, his second of the game.
Online shop of the Detroit Tigers at Tigers.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic Tigers gear, including clubhouse caps, T-shirts, jerseys. Well, you get the idea. You can get it all there. Get your gear straight from the source at the Tigers.com shop.
Meanwhile, after Rayburn hit his second home run, he went out to left field to warm up, and look what he gets.
Getting showered with a lot of love here in the final regular season game here at Comerica Park in 2009.
A standing ovation to Ryan Rayburn. Verlander back to the hill now in the seventh, leading 5-0. Nix getting his first at bat. And Quinton then Wise. Jason Nix batting .224. He's hit 12 home runs. Verlander just 4 strikeouts today, has not needed too many. He went around a strike called 1 and 2. He's given up just 2 hits, a single to Alexi Ramirez and a single to Gordon Beckham. Breaking ball, got him. Wow. Nix couldn't even move the bat.
Verlander's got some skills. And when you can throw a fastball at 97 miles an hour and then you come back and throw that same, give that same arm speed and throw a curveball, it's an unhittable pitch. Unhittable pitch.
Carlos Quinton. 0-1.
JB's pitching here today. He's not trying to overpower this White Sox team. They're a good fastball hitting team. They've displayed that in the first couple of games in this series and really have displayed that in their career against Verlander.
Chopper hit to short. Everett has it.
He just sitting y'all down today.
2 gone. Cruising along.
The right fielder, Dwayne Wise.
Here's Dwayne Wise. He'll get his first at bat.
He's sitting y'all down. You're not going to take a seat, Kotsay.
So Jermaine Dive will finish 0 for 2 for the day. Wise took over for him defensively. And he fouls it back 0-1. He's not waiting around. Saw that first fastball and took a hack. Tigers today have 8 hits. The Sox have 2.
Get the stretch on before you go grab your glove.
Here's the 0-1.
And Wise this year made one of the greatest catches you'll ever see. Under the circumstances of a perfect game that he saved for Mark Burley.
Fly ball to right. And Ordonez for another 1-2-3 inning. Just 9 pitches for Verlander. Stretch time. stateside for their home opener when they host the Chicago Blackhawks in what is sure to be a spirited renewal of the longtime Detroit-Chicago hockey rivalry. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. with Red Wings Live. Red Wings Hockey is presented by Bell Tire. Thursday night on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Detroit HD. After a couple losses in Sweden, Zetterberg and the boys coming back home to the States. Meanwhile, Ryan Rayburn in this one has been huge for the Tigers.
2 home runs on off-speed pitches. Very nice observation with the first one. Danks pitched out of a bases-loaded jam with breaking balls early. Rayburn knew he was going to get a changeup. He got it. He didn't miss it. And then he took the youngster Hudson deep with a breaking ball that was a little flat and just spun right over the heart of the dish.
So the Tigers trying to do something about this series here in Chicago or against Chicago, in which they dropped the first 2 and dropped into a first-place tie. Have a 5-0 lead in this game, and they have made what looks to be a huge crowd here today in the final game of the regular season. Very happy so far. Royals are trailing Minnesota 4-0. Of course, if the Tigers win and if Minnesota wins, they play Tuesday night to decide the championship. And the Metrodome will live for another day, at least to host baseball.
They got something special going on in the Metrodome on Monday or something?
Yeah, it's the return of Farvapalooza. Brett Favre taking on Green Bay. That ought to be something. Maglio Ordonez is leading it off here in the 7th. It is now the top of the 3rd, Minnesota 4, KC nothing. Ordonez is a triple away from the cycle. A single, a double, and a homer. The 0-2 pitch. Just off the plate, 1-2. Ordonez hitting .307. That kind of play. 1-2, the count stays.
Yeah, with guys like Ordonez that have tremendous numbers on the backs of their bubblegum cards, even though they get off to a slow start, you could pretty much write in that number where his career numbers are going to be as far as the batting average is concerned. Power numbers way down. But batting average, he's gotten back over 300 where he usually sits. That's why they play 162 games.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Ramirez, a tumbling play, gets to his feet, and he almost threw him out.
Stop it, Lexi.
That is just unbelievable.
Goodness gracious. Let the man have his 4th hit. What range he has displayed in this series at that position. If he's able to not roll so many times, he gets that out at first base. What a play. What range.
You know, it's amazing enough for him to get to that ball, but to tumble 2 times and then still come up and have a chance. Pretty wild. So Ordonez will get a nice round of applause as he departs. The pinch runner is Clete Thomas. 4-hit game for Maglio Ordonez. Ball 1. On Miguel Cabrera. That is the 9th Tigers hit of this game. Cabrera was walked intentionally in his first at bat, 0 for 2. Little pop up back a second for Lillibridge. 1 out. Well, if we do get to Tuesday at the Metrodome, and right now I know it's still very early in that Minnesota game, but it's kind of shaping up that way. These would be the probable pitchers, subject to change. And how about that environment? Porcello would have to pitch.
Really? It would be Jackson's regular day to pitch. And Porcello would get the nod over him.
Well, we emphasize probables.
Yeah.
Fouled straight back. 0-1. And Carlos Guillen.
Is that what's being reported, though?
That's what we understand, yeah. Nothing official in the Tigers' notes. Hold in the air to right field. Right at Dwayne Wise. 2 gone.
The third baseman, Brandon Inge.
He's going to bring up Brandon Inge. Inge 0 for 3, strikeout, ground out, reaching on a fielder's choice in the 5th. Hudson came on in the 6th inning, gave up the home run to Rayburn. Check swing strike. Hudson pitched 3 seasons at Old Dominion. Freshman All-American there, 2006. Slings one home and it misses 1-1. And he joined Gordon Beckham as the 2nd member of that 08 draft to get called to the big leagues. That's back up the middle, and Ramirez won't get this one, even with his range. 2-out single for Brandon Inge. We'll give Granderson an opportunity.
Well, if you really kind of think about the probables of who will pitch that game in Minnesota, whoever it is, they'll have to have somebody on the mound that can kind of shut down a running game, because Ron Gardenhire will have those guys running, and Porcello does do a better job of limiting the damage that's done by the base runners than Jackson does.
And if it is Porcello, he has certainly pitched much better the final month of the season than Edwin Jackson. But
I'd throw that out, though.
Edwin Jackson has so much more experience. There's a strike call. You wouldn't. I would
throw that out in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect. Porcello's tremendous. You can't go wrong with either guy. But as far as what a guy's done lately, I mean, I throw that out the window.
1-1 on Granderson. A couple of grounders and a fly ball. Well, we'll see. We got to get there first. Tigers doing their part with 10 hits today. It's way inside. Move the runners up. KC failed to score in the top of the 3rd. They go to the bottom of the 3rd. And it's still 4-0 Minnesota. That last one, by the way, ruled a wild pitch. 3-1 on Granderson. Fouled away, 3-2. Got it. Strike 3. Grandy thought he had a walk and is caught looking. So we go to the 8th. Verlander enjoying a 5-0 lead. Red Wings battle the Chicago Blackhawks on Thursday, October 8th in the home opener. All fans receive a Bell Tire magnet schedule, plus see Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals Saturday, October 10th on Breast Cancer Awareness Night. Order at DetroitRedWings.com or call 800-745-3000. Verlander back to work in a slow roller hit towards short. Everett will barehand. Kotsay is out. Nicely done.
Only play he had. Had Everett tried to come in and glove that ball and then exchange it to the throwing hand, he doesn't get Kotsay. And this is not an easy play. I mean, you're grabbing the ball in the palm of your hand and then you're transferring it to the fingertips so you can flip it over to first base. Nicely done.
Verlander has given up 2 hits. Clee Thomas, by the way, stays in the game. He plays right field for Maglio.
Those one pitch outs are huge for Verlander because his pitch count's approaching 100.
Bouncing ball back up the middle. That's going to squeeze through right between the second baseman and the shortstop. Rios has a single. All 3 hits singles today for Chicago. Here's Alexei Ramirez. That was the 100th pitch thrown by Verlander. Ramirez has one of those 3 hits, a single. Ball outside, 1-0. .101 for Verlander. .2-0. 35th start of the season for Justin Verlander, and it has been a very good one. 3 hits, no runs. There's a strike, 2-1. Coming out on a must-win Sunday and delivering so far. Tigers have backed him with 5 runs on 10 hits. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Big rip there by Ramirez. Sounded like he broke his bat. Shallow left field, going to drop. Base hit. Ramirez loops one in. First and second with 1 out.
The catcher.
Second hit for Ramirez. Well, meanwhile, at the Metrodome, it's Kubel again. This time he goes the other way.
You can't win for losing. You pitch around a guy like Mauer, which I'm sure they're doing, and it's Kubel that's getting it done in Minnesota today. Minnesota has had some guys really step up in the absence of Justin Mourner. It's been Kadire that's had a great September, early October. Delman Young drove in 7 runs last couple of days, and it's Kubel with 2 3-run blasts today.
You're right, you can't win for losing. Pitcher on Mauer, that guy's sitting behind him, and he's had just a great year, and that's something Leland talked about. I mean, it's almost like pick your poison. Now, obviously, you're going to have to pitch around Mauer. The guy's hitting .370, but there are no schleppers behind him, so to speak.
What that team has done down the stretch without their feared slugger, MVP candidate Justin Morneau, is miraculous.
That's driven toward left center field. That ball is down, cut off by Granderson. This will get 1 run in. Rios will score. It's a double and an RBI, and it's now 5-1.
And Rick Knapp may have to go out and just calm Verlander down. Usually for 1 inning during the course of the game, the opposing team causes Verlander to pitch in some stress, which he's pitching in now. He usually gives you just 1 inning of this. Granderson did a nice job of cutting that ball off.
Yeah, I thought that ball was going to go to the wall, and had it done that, 2 runs would have scored. Here is Brent Lillibridge. 5-1 ball game. They're on the board. That's their first extra base hit. Ball 1. Justin reaching back for 98 miles an hour. Back up the middle into center field. This might get 2 runs in. Ramirez scores. Castro coming around, and all of a sudden the White Sox now have made it a 5-3 ball game. The number 9 hitter Lillibridge with a 2-run single, and is 5-3. Rick Knapp making his way out to the mound. 6 hits for Chicago. They drop a 3 spot on Verlander here in the 8th, and they're still going.
And guys like Lillibridge will scare you on occasion. You know he's not trying to overpower the fastball. He takes a 97-mile-per-hour fastball and just allows Verlander to supply all the power. And he hits that ball sharply right back up the middle.
So Fernando Rodney's starting to tune up now. Crowd trying to get behind Verlander here as Podsednik, the leadoff man, stands in.
And Lillibridge tried to steal a base earlier in this game when Verlander walked him and Gerald Laird threw him out. He won't have to steal this time.
Wow. All the way to the backstop and move the runner up. Things are unraveling here.
Well, Verlander has to slow the game back down. He has to slow it down in his mind. His stuff's still great, but he has to slow the game down.
Wild pitch. So the tying run at the plate now, Podsednik.
Very seldom do you see breaking balls get past Laird, especially when he knows they're coming.
Yeah. There's been a wall back there.
That one got through him.
Meanwhile, along with Rodney is Brandon Lyon. Fouled away. 1-2. Verlander has gotten Podsednik 3 times in this game. He has struck him out once. The 1-2 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And throw that same pitch. He will not be able to lay off the next one. Just get a little bit more plate with it.
The 2-2 is high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. It is full on Podsednik.
If somehow, some way he loses Podsednik, Jim Leyland's going to have to make a decision. Big decision.
Nick's waiting on deck. He would be next. Problem is you get into Quinton. Popped him up. Left side of the infield. And that's a big out. 2 gone.
The third baseman, Jason Nix.
And it's going to be up to Jason Nix. 3-run 8th for the Chicago White Sox.
Coming into this game today, Verlander in his last 3 starts had thrown a combined 383 pitches. And he's thrown 116 more here this afternoon.
Well, I guess that's what you need the ace for down the stretch. They've jumped on his back. Breaking ball low, 1-0.
He has not been getting the call with that breaking ball all afternoon long.
Inside, and it almost hit him. Nix is saying it did hit him, but home plate umpire Jeff Nelson not buying.
And Nick's trying to get on first base any way he can. You can't fault him for trying. You can't fault him for trying to cheat either. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
That's true. And that would set up Quentin, who's waiting on deck. Verlander's 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. Gene Lavon picking up the telephone now to see what's going on in the bullpen. This will be the 120th pitch for Verlander. And the 3-0 comes home. And he walked him. So the tying runs are on. Carlos Quentin coming to the plate, and a big-time decision for Jim Leyland, and he's made it. Verlander's going to come out of this ball game. And the fans are about to give him a huge round of applause.
He deserves it.
Times they have the tying runs on the bases, and Justin Verlander, after a spectacular day, is out of the game.
And Verlander going up against a team that has had his number in the past, except for this year, had 5 strikeouts, and got the 5 strikeouts in a variety of different ways. The change piece, the mid-90s fastball, and that baffling curveball that he will throw up there as well.
Responsible for the 2 runners, 7 2/3 of work here tonight. He is counting on Rodney to get the final out, and the first pitch is popped up foul off the bat of Carlos Quentin.
Fernando Rodney has had 1 4-out save this year. Most managers simply do not like to go to their closer in the 8th inning, but what's at stake here today at Comerica Park? Rodney, in Jim's mind, is the best man for the job to get them out of this jam.
1 ball, 1 strike. Carlos Quentin is 0 for 3. He has hit 6 home runs this year against the Tigers. 2 for 3 versus Rodney. That's in the air, shallow left center field. Granderson coming hard, diving and making the catch.
Boy, oh boy, what a play by Curtis.
How clutch was that play by Curtis Granderson? The crowd to its feet. Granderson saves the day here in the 8th. Outstanding. Tigers baseball today on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Ball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, standing the test of time since 1849. How about our Comerica game summary in this one? The Tigers holding on to the lead. Slim lead now, 5-3. Rayburn, his third career multi-homer game. Ordonez finishing the regular season 4 for 4. And Verlander 7 2/3, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts. This is his game if the Tigers can hold on to it. And they'll try and restock that lead now. It's 5-3. Curtis Granderson saved the day with a diving catch in center.
Put your jacket on, Verlander. It's cold down there. Protect that precious right arm.
Clouds starting to roll back in. Did have some sunshine to heat it up a little bit, but it is chilly. Carlos Torres is the new Chicago pitcher.
How about tacking a couple of extra runs on Torres?
Laird leads it off. Gerald and then Everett and then Rayburn. Down the right field line, foul. No balls, 2 strikes on Gerald Laird.
A lot of praise will go to Verlander, and rightfully so, if the Tigers go on to win this game. But you cannot underestimate the impact that Laird has had in this game. 1, catching Verlander, 2, throwing out Lillibridge very early in this game, shutting down a possible rally, and then starting an inning off with a bunt base hit. He's had a very good day.
Yeah, and that bunt base hit eventually scored on the 2-run homer by Rayburn to make it 3-0 early. Shot to center field, base hit. So another hit for Laird, a 2-hit day.
Cannot underestimate his day today. Seems like these two have had a nice thing going today, Laird and Everett.
Everett already has 1 sacrifice, leads the league with 14.
And more than likely, the way that Rayburn has swung the bat today, it's an option here to bunt again. Get 1 more run. Especially if you got a guy up there that can do it. No problem.
Torres taking over for Hudson, who relieved the starter Danks. Danks went 5 innings. He's showing bunt way high.
It's a nice pitch choice by Torres and Castro, the catcher, knowing that Everett is up there trying to sacrifice. You elevate the fastball to see if you can get the hitter to bunt the ball straight up in the air.
Got it down. Torres 2 sacrifices in the game for Everett, 15 for the season.
As a rule of thumb, a fastball up around where this ball is, you don't want to bunt it, but Everett has tremendous confidence in bunting. And take a look at the technique here. He has to get up on top of this pitch, but he creates the proper bat angle, which would allow the ball to go straight down in the ground. That ball was up around his neck. It's a great job here.
Well, let's get this run in. Tigers lead by 2. Rayburn cuts and misses. Hudson misses again, 0-2. Fouled away. Rayburn with a 2-run shot in the second. He homered in the 6th inning, trying to pick up Laird, who led the inning off with a base hit.
And Castro must think that Laird out at second base is trying to relay location to Rayburn, the hitter. Therefore, he went out to talk to Torres, possibly change the signs, maybe even tell him what's coming. And without putting down a sign. It's easy for catchers, especially if they've been standing out at second base for a number of pitches, to determine what the sequence is of the opposing pitcher-catcher matchup.
Rayburn now has 16 home runs this year, 10 of which have come in the second half. Big run standing at second base can make it a little bit more comfortable when we get to the 9th inning. Nate Robertson now tuning up in the Detroit pen. And there's a knockdown by the shortstop Ramirez, and it'll save a run, but it's an infield hit for Ryan Rayburn.
Good base running there by Laird. And he knew exactly where Ramirez was playing. He also knows that Ramirez has a tremendous amount of range. Therefore, when the ball was hit, he paused to make sure the ball wasn't caught cleanly, because had he broke cleanly and Ramirez fielded that ball cleanly, Ramirez would have thrown to third to get the out there. It's good base running by Laird. Take a look at him here. Then he sees the ball not fielded. He's able to get 90 feet further to score.
Now Polanco with 1 out. Placido's been quiet today, 0 for 4.
Ozzie Guillen might pitch out once or twice, anticipating a squeeze with Polanco in the batter's box. It is always an option for a guy that can handle the bat as well as Polanco can handle the bat.
Ball 1. Tigers have 12 hits up and down their lineup, and it's odd to see that Polanco doesn't even have at least 1. Placido finishing up one of his better seasons in the big leagues. Trying to deliver an insurance run here. Minnesota 7, KC 1 as they go to the bottom of the 4th at the Metrodome. Popped up foul, back out of play, 1-1. Tigers with a win here today would finish the regular season with 86 victories. And barring a comeback by Kansas City, would have to go to Minnesota Tuesday. Shallow right. Wayne Wise coming in. Runner tags up. They're going to try and score him. Laird coming home. The throw is in time. A collision. And Castro holds on for the double play. Laird nailed him coming in. But Castro was able to hold on to the baseball. And that's all for the Tigers here in the eighth.
What a collision that was.
Boom. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. So we go to the ninth inning in a 5-3 ball game, and Gerald Laird back out there after that collision with Castro.
Well, Wise knew he was going. That's why he did not bounce the ball. He simply threw it all the way on the fly to Castro, and Castro was bracing himself for contact, and that's what allowed him to hold on to the baseball. He had both hands on the ball.
Fernando Rodney goes back to work, and he delivers a strike to Dwayne Wise as we start things off here in the ninth inning. Tigers, if they get a win here today, no worse than forcing that playoff in Minnesota Tuesday. That is popped up foul and heads back to the seats. Fernando came on in the eighth and got the fly ball from Quinton to end the inning. A great diving play by Curtis Granderson. The 0-2. Fouled away again. Wise, then Kotsay, then Rios facing Fernando here in the ninth. 2-run game.
And Rodney features just 2 pitches, but that's really all he needs. An overpowering fastball on occasion and one of the best changeups in all of baseball for a right-handed pitcher.
Wise stays alive.
Rodney has nearly been perfect this year in save opportunities. He's only blown 1.
That's back up the middle. Everett gets over there behind the bag. Wise safe at first base. He beat it out. Infield hit. Leadoff man is on.
That was a changeup. It was located well, but Wise was able to keep his hands back even though the body was out in front. And by the hands staying back, you still have a chance to put the ball in play. With his speed, Everett could do nothing. Great hustle by Wise.
Here's Mark Kotsay, tying run at the plate. Ball one. Kotsay today 0 for 3.
For what's at stake, this crowd is kind of quiet.
I agree.
They ought to be up.
35,000 plus. The 1-0. Rolled toward first, foul.
No need to wait for something bad to happen. Enjoy it.
Tigers this year will finish up at better than 2.5 million. Fourth highest attendance in the season at Comerica Park. Little bouncing ball hit towards short. Everett flips to second one. Here comes the relay. Safe. Cabrera is off the bag, actually. Kotsay runs through it.
Cabrera did the right thing by coming off the bag. You don't want to be trying to reach for this ball and allow the ball to get past you, which would allow Kotsay to get himself in the scoring position. If the throw's off and you're not going to get two, come off the bag and get it.
One on, one out, and here is Alex Rios. Fouled away, 0-1. Verlander was cruising along in this game until Rios singled with 1 out in the 8th inning, and that led to a 3-run frame, which knocked Justin out of the game. But Rodney is trying to put the finishing touches on this game. And the 1-1. Bouncing ball to second should do it. Polanco flips to Everett 1. That's the Tigers win. The Tigers, on the final day of the season, beat the White Sox, and they have earned, at the very least, a trip to Minnesota on Tuesday night. If the Twins beat Kansas City, there will be a tie-breaking game Tuesday night. Otherwise, the Tigers will celebrate a division championship. But